All right, I guess we're here. Welcome to the Black Side of, which is normally a wrestling podcast, but we're switching it up. I'm Black, and we're going to do something different. Today, we're going to do Black Side of movies, specifically a horror movie and a franchise that I love to death, no pun intended. And helping me explain that is my good friend and mentor for my podcast, is Ursula of Black Girls Getting They Shift Together. How
Thank
are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Travis?
I'm great. And I just want to thank you so much. I know you say you don't do horror movies at all. So I think you're the perfect person for me to explain Friday the 13th to you.
It's an honor. It is an honor. And you're right. I don't fool with horror movies. But because you asked and it was you, I said, yes, I'll come on board.
I appreciate it. Now, let me just give you some background on this. First off, Friday 13th is one of those rare movie franchises that's very linear. When I mean linear, they start with the same premise from the beginning of the first movie all the way to where they have the remake now. But the movie before the remake, Freddy versus Jason, they much kept everything on the same storyline. They didn't deviate. There was no, oh, this happened instead, or a reboot situation. It pretty
Mm.
much stayed constant throughout the franchises. So that's one thing I do love about the movie. And plus, personally, I found out, I don't know when I found this out, but my mother, I was born in 1980, the same year this movie came out.
Oh, wow.
And this was the first movie my mother saw as a girls' night out, dinner and drinks, and a movie with her friends. So
So your mother made you this way.
it probably, yeah, it was just the first movie she saw as her way of getting away from me as a crying baby. Probably like, oh yeah, let me go hang out with some girl time and go watch Friday 13th.
Damn. So she rather go to a horror movie. You
Yeah.
must have been crying a lot.
Oh, I'm sure I was horrible.
Oh, that's
So, since we know that you don't watch horror movies, so you don't
mm,
watch any kind of horror movies of any kind?
none. No,
Zero.
I will tell you, since you asked me, I really thought about it. I said, what was the last horror movie? You're gonna trip out. Oh, the house on Usher Street, it was a long time ago. I'm a little older than you.
Yeah.
It was it was back in the 80s. Like I
Okay.
literally do not watch horror movies at all.
Well, you got the last house on the left. You got uh there was a couple of them. Yeah, but I get it. You're not a horror movie fan.
No.
So I would even suggest or even ask you. I guess you haven't seen any Friday 13th to be on top of that. So
No, not at all. But that's why I'm here for this experience. I'm gonna learn something.
okay, well I hope I teach you something. So
Yeah, I mean, it's already in a controlled environment, so I don't nothing's jumping out at the screen, so I can handle this.
nah, I won't. I won't. Well, maybe I may have a surprise for you later on. Just so just hold on. We might have something for you.
Oh, geez, I'm
So just
ready.
keep in mind this movie first released back in 1980.
Okay.
So the story actually begins as a whole in 1958. You see a bunch.
Really?
Yeah, you see a bunch of counselors there at the camp. They're, the traditional. They're singing around the campfire,
See, my
"Kumbaya."
anxiety's already getting high. Just for real.
So you see two counselors sneak off, like, "Hey, let's just get away from these. Let's go do our thing." So they're upstairs in an empty part of the cabin making out, but you see a figure just coming in. Like, I don't know if you know point of view camera angle. That's
No.
basically where what the camera sees is mimicking what the person would actually see.
Oh,
Like you
I didn't
looking
know that.
at your computer screen is a point of view that a camera would shoot. So if you were just walking around your house just with the camera just focusing on anything that your eyes would see, that's
Hmm.
what they call a point of view or POV shot. You don't see the person behind
Oh.
the camera, you just see what the person behind the camera sees.
Yeah, I've seen POV before on certain websites. I
No,
get
well,
it.
well, I don't know.
Now I get it.
You get
Okay.
it, right. Oh, before we really get started, check out my Freddy versus Jason T-shirt.
Okay, that's cool. Rock
Rock
beat
beat scissors.
scissors.
I figured
Oh, I
it's
get
appropriate.
it. This is gonna be fun. That's a
So,
cool T-shirt.
so like I said, you see a point of view, camera in range, just looking and seeing the two counselors making out. The guy jumps up and like, oh, we wasn't doing anything, we're not doing anything. I promise we're not doing anything. The typical teenagers get caught doing whatever they ain't supposed to do. Next thing you know, he takes a stab to the gut. He goes down. He's holding his stomach. He's bleeding out. And the girl he's with, she starts screaming, "Oh, help me, help me." She's running over here. She's running over there. She's trying to get away. And then you just see a freeze frame of her face screaming, "Ah!" And then they roll credits. So they just let you know at the beginning, anything can happen. Anyone can get it. Just keep that in mind.
Okay.
So fast forward to modern day, which will be 1980 in movies. If you were a person in the 80s who went to watch this movie, you would think it'd be the 80s at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and let me preface this. If I mention a name, they are important. Anyone else is cannon fodder at this point. they get murdered. They don't matter. That's going to be the theme throughout this whole thing.
I have a question.
What you got?
The two people that in the 50s, were they melanated people? Because usually, from what my experience, I do know that Black folks are usually the first one to be alive.
In this instance, no. They were lily white folks.
You're kidding me.
No. Well, you also have to remember it was the 50s, so a lot of these camps were probably segregated. So you have to probably put that into perspective.
Facts.
So I don't remember my dad telling me about he went to a summer camp for Negroes. So
mine did. It was called the street.
Oh yeah, I mean other than the streets, you got a real education there.
Exactly. Okay, that's good to know.
So Annie, girl next door, pretty young white girl. She's hitchhiking to Camp Crystal Lake. She stops in the town outside of Crystal Lake and she goes into a diner and she's like, "Hey everyone, do you know what's the quickest way to Camp Crystal Lake?" And the whole diner turns to her like, "You want to go to Camp Blood? Are you serious?"
What? So it has a reputation.
It has a reputation from the 50s of the two kids getting killed. So finally, one of the guys at the counter like, "Well, I'm going halfway, and you can ride with me. I'll take you there." So she hops in her truck, and he was like, "You really don't want to go here." She's like, "Well, I love kids, and I want to be around kids, and I want to cook for the kids, and do all these things and nurture these kids." He's like, "Let me tell you something, girl. 2 kids got killed back in 57, or 258, I'm sorry. A kid drowned in 1957. In the 60s, the water went bad in that property. And in the early 70s, they had all these campfires around the cabins. You do not want to go here. This place is cursed."
Oh, boy.
Oh, and before they got in the truck, a guy named Crazy Ralph told him the same thing. "This place is a death curse. You don't want to go." And the guy shoot Ralph, "Oh, yeah, get out of here, Ralph. You don't know what you're talking about." But obviously, Ralph knows what he's talking about.
Right.
So he drops her off halfway through. She gets into her another truck. And she tells him the same story. "Oh, I love kids, blah, blah, blah." But this is another point of view angle. You don't know who's behind the camera looking at her. And she notices that they passed the sign for Camp Crystal Lake. This one right here.
Oh, geez.
And she's like, "Excuse me, think you passed my stop there." And then you hear the music. Dun-dun, 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 dun-dun.
That's why I don't like that music.
Right. So she
in the movies.
She just like, "All right, I'm out." She opens the door and does a tuck and roll out of the vehicle and starts making a run for it.
Oh, damn, really?
Yes.
Okay.
But, here's another trope of all white people in horror movies. When they running, they always trip and fall.
I was going to ask, trip, fall, and look back.
Trip, fall, and
look back.
Mm-hmm. So when she tripped, fell, and looked back, she saw the person who all you saw was their feet just running after her. pulls out a knife. She's against a tree. She's like, please, no, no, no. She gets it
They
across the
showed it.
They showed it.
What? See?
Yes.
Ugh.
And you
Ugh.
saw her just close her eyes like, oh, God, no. So another thing, anybody could get it. Even the girl next door, the pretty little girl that everyone would root for.
Oh, jeez.
So we fast forward to the actual camp itself. The property is owned by a guy named Steve Christie. Steve Christie and his family are supposed to be a big deal in the Crystal Lake area.
Mm-hmm.
So he's determined, hey, this is my family legacy. I'm going to open this camp up. We're going to have fun. We're going to have kids. This is going to be the best experience that they're ever going to have. And he tells the other cannon fodder, except for one girl named Alice, who he's kind of got a romantic thing for, but they try to keep it on the low.
Okay.
So he goes to town to get supplies so they can continue building up the camp for the kids coming the following week. So, of course, they play around, and then they get to work, and then a storm starts coming in. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Crazy Ralph makes it to the property to warn them, this is a death camp. You don't want to be here. You might want to leave. And they're like, who is that guy? Then they remember that a cop came earlier and told him, oh, that's Crazy Ralph. He's heading this way. Don't worry about him. He's not dangerous. He just want to preach his gospel, quote unquote.
See, they need to listen to Crazy Ralph.
Crazy Ralph was on to something.
He was, because if they would have listened to him, they wouldn't be unalived. But go ahead.
Right. So here's when are we at the? So yeah, we get to the boo. So one guy, he sees a shadowy figure in one of the cabins as a storm is coming.
Anxiety already.
So of course he's like, "Oh hey, can I help you? Are you okay?"
Why do they do that?
Well, you know, I think the trope for every horror movie is don't do drugs, don't have sex, and never say you'll be right back because you're more than likely not coming back.
Oh.
So keep that in mind this whole time.
Okay. I see
So
the
he goes
theme right now.
exploring and he goes away. Find out that he was stabbed or, you know, cut up some kind of way because the next group that comes in the cabin, which is actually Kevin Bacon, if you're familiar with A-lister Kevin Bacon. This was his
Everyone loves Kevin Bacon. Yeah. I didn't know he was in that movie.
This was one of his first movie roles.
Really?
So he's the stud of the movie. He's like, you know, the big buff guy everybody want to, you know, do a POV with. And and so he had sex with one of the girls that's at the camp, one of the other counselors, in a bunk bed. They're on the bottom bunk, but they kind of pan up and they see the guy that went asking if that person needs help dead on top of the bunk, but they don't notice he's dead on top of the bunk.
Are you serious?
Right. So after they do their thing, the girl goes, cleans up, hose off, or whatever she needs to do. He's sitting back smoking a cigarette. He's like, yeah, you know, I'm the man. And then he sees blood dripping on him. Like, what the? And then he looks up and then someone grabs him from the bottom of the bunk. And shoves a spear through, arrowhead through his back, and you see it coming through his neck. And
shit! Are you serious? Wait! Back up. Hold on. Let my heart rate go down. Kevin Bacon was laying in the bed, and there was blood dripping down.
Yeah, he just happened to notice, like, you know, what is this? You know, you don't expect nothing to be spilling on you in bed.
And so some guy, I forgot his name, but he came in and he stabbed Kevin Bacon, or he stabbed?
No, he stabbed Kevin Bacon. He grabbed Kevin Bacon from under the bed and pushed the arrow through his neck.
And they showed it?
They showed it.
Oh.
I mean, this movie has some cool kills to it. So, I mean.
That's not cool. That's traumatic to me. This is why I don't watch it. I did not know Kevin Bacon. But it makes sense because if this is one of his first movies, he could go. It's not like
right.
If it was Bruce Willis at the time.
Footloose. Was he Footloose? I think he played in Footloose and some other stuff.
Yes. So but he wasn't Footloose Kevin. He wasn't Footloose Kevin at the
Nah,
time.
he definitely wasn't Footloose Kevin M. So
That's why he was gone. Oh my God.
so the next girl, the girl he has sex with, they follow her into the bathroom, and she gets a hatchet to the face. It's like, oh,
They showed it.
they showed it.
Where did it go? Ugh. Where did it go? Like, was it on top of her head or?
No, it was like right across her face, like and and it was cool because the way they swung the hatchet, it hit the ceiling light, so you just saw the light flickering as she's going down with this big thing in her face. So
watch these movies. I would be screaming. I would be the typical black person, like, no, what this? No, girl, don't go in there. That would be me. You would be embarrassed.
Oh no, I would love it. I'm like, yeah, don't go in there. I say the same thing. Don't go in there, bitch. You're gonna die.
Hell no, I can't.
So we're down to Steve Christie. He's away. He's coming back though.
Okay.
We have Alice, his love interest, semi love interest.
Yes.
And we have two cannon fodders, one female, one male. Like I said, I call them cannon fodders if they really don't add to the story, except for another body to be had on the movie.
Okay, wait. I have another question before we move forward.
What's that?
So the person who is unaliving everyone. I don't know. Do the camera angles show that it's the same person? Like you can tell if this is. I don't know if their shoe.
No. The only time I remember seeing shoes is when they killed the first girl in the woods. But other than that, you kind of assume it's the same person doing all the killing.
Oh, so it's just assumption. Okay, got it.
Yeah, you don't know for sure who it is at this point. So, like I said, we got 3 people left. One Alice, the what we call the final girl. Steve Christie, who's coming back from a diner, eating some supplies. He gets stuck on the side of the road, and one of his cop buddies help him out, take him back to the entrance of the camp. He goes away. Okay. And we have one person named Bill who's cannon fodder. I don't even know why I wrote his name down. And another girl and they're all playing strip Monopoly.
Oh, geez. You already see where this is going.
So there's a big storm coming, and the girl saying, oh my God, I left the windows open in my cabin. I'm just going to call it a night, and I'm just going to close my windows so my stuff don't get drenched. So she goes off and just Alice and Bill. That's probably why I wrote his name, because those 2 left. As she's in her room, she hears a voice going, help me. A little kid's voice. Oh, and she's like, what the? Ain't no kids here. And she keeps on hearing it, help me. And so, of course, she goes looking for the voice. And she starts yelling, where are you? I can't see you.
Why do they do that?
Help me. So finally, she gets to an archery range on the property, and whoever's behind it lights up the whole archery range where she's blinded. She can't see anything. Now, earlier in the movie, someone took a bow and arrow and shot an arrow her way and hit the target while she was setting it up. He thought,
oh, Lord. Oh, my God.
But luckily for you, Ursula, they do not show her death on this one. They just show her turn around in surprise when all the lights come on, and then they go away, and you just hear her scream in the storm. So Bill and Alice are like, did you hear something? Yeah, the archery lights were on, but now they're off. So Alice at this point, like, yo, something's not right around here. I think we should just hike it back to town, And Bill like, no, we good. We just gonna
Was Alice black?
She should have been. Wait, this story's turning out. So she's like, yeah, we just need to get out of here. Something's not right around here because I can't find nobody else. Everyone else is, gone. They're nowhere to be found. They're going around looking. The generator goes out. Bill was like, well, just chill right here. I'll go check out the generator and get it back working. Generator comes back on, but no Bill. He doesn't show back up. So Alice goes look for Bill, and he's hanging from the back of the door in the generator room. And Alice is like panicking. Oh my God, Bill's dead. I need to go hide. So she's barricading herself. Meanwhile, Steve Christie's walking back to the camp, the owner. He's walking back, and then he sees someone by the sign, this sign right here, with a flashlight flashing it at him. He was like, "Hey, who is that?" Then he was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? What are you doing out in this mess?" Steve Christie knows this person. Next thing you know, you just see him going, "Oh," and then they cut away from him. You assume that he got stabbed in the gut. So now the owner is dead. But it kind of gives you a clue of who it might be, because
Alice.
No, not Alice. Alice is done bunkered herself into one of the cabins because she found Bill dead.
Oh, that's right. Huh. Okay, keep going.
So
I'm gonna try to figure this out.
So she's trying to figure out what she's gonna do, and then she sees some lights drive up. She's thinking it's Steve Christie. So she unbunkers herself out of the cabin. She runs up, and then it's a lady just comes out of nowhere, out of the Jeep, and she stops her like, "Who are you?" She's like, "Oh, I'm Mrs. Voorhees. I'm a good friend of Steve Christie's. What's going on, child?" It's a kind of older lady. So Alice hugging her like, "We got to get out of here. There's someone killing people. Bill's dead. I can't find anyone else. We need to go and get to the sheriff right now." And Mrs. Voorhees like, "Oh, I'm not afraid." So she just walks her ass up in the cabin, and she sees one of the bodies, and she's like, "Oh man, who could have did this evil? This child didn't deserve this."
So she was unfazed.
She was unfazed by seeing a dead body just laying there. So
I heard that Voorhees that name before.
So she turns to Alice, and she's all distraught, like, "Oh, Alice, why did they have to open up this camp? They should have left this camp closed. Did you know a boy died here in 1957? That was my son, Jason Voorhees. And today is his birthday."
Wait, what?
She said, "That was my child, Jason Voorhees. And today is his birthday. You know I couldn't let them open up this camp again. So everyone had to go." And Alice was like, "What the fuck?" So her and Alice start tussling. Like, Alice fighting for her life to get away from this crazy lady. She's running from cabin to cabin, locking herself, hiding in closets and stuff.
What?
So she finally gets the upper hand and hits her over the head with a pot in the kitchen. But that doesn't faze Mrs. Voorhees. Well, Alice walks to the beach, thinking she's dead because she done hit her over the head with a pot, and she saw blood leaking out. So she's thinking Mrs. Voorhees is dead. No more threat. No, Mrs. Voorhees coming back with a big ass knife. Like, "Oh, nah, we about to finish this." So they get to tussling. They break an oar. She's trying to stab her with the broken part of the oar on the beach. But then Alice sees the big knife that she brought. She grabs it. Mrs. Voorhees like, "Uh-oh. Oh, no. Hold on. Let's talk about this." Alice cocks back.
No.
Swing, batter. Chops her head clean off.
Did they show it?
They showed it. You just saw her head just go sideways and blood just squirting out of her, what used to be her neck.
Are you fucking kidding me?
So the killer the whole time was Mrs. Voorhees, and we have to assume she was the killer in 58 that killed the two counselors. She's the one that set all the fire. She's the one that made the water go bad at the beginning to keep the camp from ever opening, because her son wasn't a good swimmer. And she's always blamed the counselors for letting her son drown because they was off having sex somewhere. So she figured, if I never let this camp open again, then no other child will ever be hurt again. That was her motive.
So this entire time, now I've heard of, what is this movie, the Friday the 13th? I didn't know. I just assumed it was a man. I didn't know if woman was killing folks.
A woman was the killer.
What?
Also to love her son that drowned 20, 30 years earlier.
I never freaking knew that. Damn.
So if you ever had trivia, when they ask you who was the killer of Friday the 13th, don't say Jason. It was Mrs. Voorhees, Jason's mama.
Okay, this is going to sound crazy.
Okay.
On your T-shirt, which one is Jason Voorhees?
Jason's the one with the hockey mask. I think I'm doing it right.
Really?
Yeah, hockey mask. That's Jason. But we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Hold on.
Oh, there's more?
There's more.
Oh, God.
So Alice, she's thinking, okay, she's dead. She ain't coming back. So she gets in the canoe and she rides off into the lake, and the sun is rising from the terror from the night before. She's waking up. She sees the police in the distance, calling out to her. You can't really hear her. They just have this light sound going on where she's just like, I'm tired. I'm tired, boss. Then next thing you know, a kid jumps out of the lake that's all decomposed and whatnot and drags Alice underneath the water.
That was Jason.
We assume it was Jason. So then we flash to her being in the hospital, and the doctors, a nurse, and the cops are around her bed, and they kind of telling her, hey, anything you need to tell us? We found all these people dead, and we thought you were dead too when we pulled you out of the water.
I thought so too.
Yeah. Huh. So she's like, no. Yeah, it was her, and what about the boy? Did you find the boy too? And they looking around, this chick crazy. What boy? What are you talking about? The boy, Jason, the one that pulled me under the water. He's like, man, we didn't find no boy in the water. So Alice just kind of like, well, he's still there then.
Oh my God.
And so they kind of go back to the lake, and they see a little drop of water, and it ripples out, and they kind of think, yeah, Jason's underneath that water waiting for somebody.
So he's a ghost or something.
Well, you would assume that. So a few things about this movie. That's the end of Friday 13th, the first one.
The first one? How many are there?
There are 10 movies in this series. So if you want to cut this up to make it a series, we can actually do that. But
I didn't know that. I had no idea. I knew there were multiple, but I didn't know it was 10.
Yeah. This is probably the longest one just because it sets up stories for the rest of them. But just a couple of things. This was actually supposed to be an anthology movie, meaning that they were going to make Friday 13th Part 2 with a whole new story to it. And every year they're going to do a different story and call it Friday 13th Part 3 or whatever, 4, 5, 6. But that whole story, well, let me just tell you this. Guess what this movie had the audacity to do?
What?
Make money. This movie made $60 million off a $600,000 budget.
Are you kidding me?
So of course they're going to make a sequel.
Hell yeah, I would.
Right. Oh,
wow.
And one more tidbit. The lady that played Mrs. Voorhees, she's a stage actress named Betsy Palmer. And Miss Palmer only took the role because she needed a new Mercedes.
Really?
Yep. She's like, oh, my car is a piece of junk and I need a new Mercedes. Her agent's like, well, we got this movie called Friday 13th. It might not do anything, but they're willing to pay X amount. Let's see, X amount. That's how much I need for my new car. Yeah, let's do it.
So wow. So she's sitting pretty in her car with the $600 million?
$60 million off a $600,000 budget.
Wow.
But she said, I thought this movie was a piece of shit and wasn't going to do anything. I just needed the money. Little did she know that this became a full-on franchise. And she's dead now. She was deceased a few years ago. She was in her 90s.
I was going to ask you if she's still with us.
Nah, but I'm sure she got a pretty penny for every fan convention that she did over the years. So this movie really paid her bills for the next 30 years.
So they have fan conventions for this movie?
Not for this movie particularly, but
or the franchise.
They do have horror movie fan conventions.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, this is a total geek culture.
I'm finding this out. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's a thing. So let's move on